Until this week, they were mere shadows on the American sporting scene. Lonely figures traveling the world, trying to make their mark in the world's most popular sport, but a sport that receives little notice in their home country. They are the American national soccer team under the microscope at home this week. Long shots to make it through the first round of the World Cup. But then, suddenly, 4 nights ago, before 93,000 in the Rose Bowl, these underappreciated athletes scored the greatest victory in the history of American soccer, beating Colombia, a team that many thought might win it all this time. The dream continues, not quite as impossible as before. And the scene is dreamlike for the young Americans right now before another capacity crowd in the Rose Bowl. What were the odds that they would face Romania today, not only with a chance to move on to the second round, but possibly to finish first in their group? They're lonely no longer, not shadows, but the new bright figures in American sport. This is their moment in the sun.
World Cup Soccer on ABC Sports. Brought to you by Snickers. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies. Powerade, the official sports drink of World Cup USA 94 and the next thing. Canon, the world leader in cameras and office equipment. GMC Truck, the strength of experience. And MasterCard. MasterCard, official sponsor of the 1994 World Cup.
It's a spectacular scene at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. The final game in round 1, Group A. The United States takes on Romania. And the U.S. with a win or a tie, they finish first or second, they go on. And even if they would lose today, their chances of advancing are still very good. Along with Seamus, Malin, I'm Roger Twibell. And Seamus, can they afford to play for a tie, Dave?
Well, playing for a tie would be very, very dangerous. In fact, it's a dodgy technique to pull off. They've had very good midfield defense and strong counter-attacking skill. So that worked against Colombia. They ought to keep doing it against Romania today.
Well, the United States has had several days to dwell on that big victory against Colombia, and former U.S. national team member Peter Vermes joins us now. Peter, what about the emotional state of the team?
Well, there's 2 potential possibilities in this game. The first could be that the USA come out and be very confident because of their win over the Colombia team.
And we have reached halftime. We have reached halftime here at the Rose Bowl. The Romanians lead the United States 1-0 as we looked at the box of the U.S. parents here. 1-0 to score at halftime. Let's send you back to New York and Jim McKay. Jim?
Thanks, Roger. Well, the action will continue here during halftime. We're going to have highlights from that important Switzerland-Colombia game being played simultaneously with the USA-Romania match. The fate of the American team, of course, is involved in the outcome of both of those games. Also, Desmond Armstrong will analyze the first half of the USA game, and we'll go up close and personal on some of the stars of Team USA.
World Cup Soccer on ABC Sports. Brought to you by Ice Cold Coca-Cola Classic. Always refreshing, always Coca-Cola. Canon, a world leader in cameras and office equipment. The GM Card, today's financial vehicle. MasterCard. MasterCard, official sponsor of the 1994 World Cup. And Snickers. Packed with peanuts, Snickers really satisfies. ABC Sports presents the 1994 World Cup Halftime Report. From our New York studios, your host, Jim McKay.
And we're here with Desmond Armstrong, former member of the U.S. World Cup team. Desmond, does the U.S. team have to do something differently in the second half? They're going to get back in this?
I think they have to. I think they have to push forward a little bit more to try to get some offensive thrust. They need to come down the outsides and try to get the ball across the goal mouth and then attack the 18-yard box.
Well, they were really dominating play in the first half until suddenly. Let's take a look at that goal.
Okay. Right here you have Romania on top of the ball. They put the ball on the outside over top of Clavijo on the outside. The recovery run by Balboa a little bit late. The ball comes across the top of the box. Out to the outside again behind John Hart. Petrescu gets the ball and he beats Tony to the near post. Tony's cheating a little bit off his line, expecting the ball to come across to the far post.
Okay, so the score at halftime, once again, Romania 1, the United States nothing. Meanwhile, Switzerland was playing Colombia, and here was the sudden goal in the last minute of the first half.
There's a chip, yeah. The ball gets played to the outside, and a header uncovered, right in the goalkeeper's hands and into the net.
And so, Colombia leads that one by 1-0. Let's take a look at the Group A standings then. There's the score. Colombia, Switzerland, 1-0. Each game 1-0 at halftime. Both games important to all four teams. The Group A standings then look like this, of course, with no results in today. Switzerland and the U.S. tied with 4 points apiece, then Romania and Colombia, but that could change almost any way. In a minute, 3 members of the U.S. team. I mentioned at the start of the program that the members of the American national soccer team have been mere shadows on the sports scene until last Wednesday when they upset Colombia. Well, the shadows no more. The sporting public wants to know who they are and what they're like. Tab Ramos is one of 3 members of the U.S. team from the Kearney, New Jersey area. He's American all the way, but plays his professional soccer in Spain, where he helped his team move up to the first division this year. The Spain offer grew out of his performance in the last World Cup.
Over 1 billion people around the world watch the World Cup, and I guess a lot of teams in Europe usually look for their foreign players in the World Cup, and I was lucky enough to have a good performance in a couple of the games, and one of the teams here decided to sign me and take a chance on me, which was really unusual considering no American had ever played in Spain before.
Marcelo Balboa's dream almost didn't come true. He was headed for his second World Cup until the spring of '93. Then came every soccer player's nightmare, the sudden injury.
The only thing I could remember is taking a step back, I heard a pop, the next thing you know, I was on the ground.
Well, Marcelo surprised the experts. Here he is, back on the World Cup team, and as good as ever.
I'm healthy, I'm playing again. Now it's time to get back to work.
A spectator 4 years ago, Alexi Lala surprised himself by making the team.
In January of 1993, I came out to camp out in Mission Viejo. I had nothing, and I just jumped on the plane and came out and was like, God, please let me get a job.
Oh, they call you up, say, man, you got it made. You just don't know how many times you rain on your own parade, yeah.
Ramos, Balboa, and Lalas. Different personalities with a common goal, victory. More World Cup news has flowed in this afternoon, and suspensions and controversy continue to spice up the scene. Today, Martin Dahlin of Sweden, one of the top scorers in the tournament, has been suspended from his team's next game against powerful Brazil for receiving a second yellow card in his last game. Also, a week-long controversy between Cameroon's players and their federation ended when Joseph Antoine Bell, their goalie, resigned from the team. His playing time had been the center of the dispute. Now let's look at the group standings. We saw Group A early. In Group B, Brazil is already qualified for the next round, as indicated by the asterisk. Sweden looks likely to qualify also. Germany leads Group C. As you see, they're followed by Spain and South Korea, but none of them have clinched advancement as yet. Argentina is assured of a second-round match in Group D. Nigeria leads Bulgaria only on goal differential. In Group E, the issue is wide open. All 4 teams have 3 points apiece, but Ireland and Mexico lead at the moment on goals scored. And finally, Belgium has qualified in Group F to move on to the next round. Saudi Arabia and the Netherlands have a good chance to advance. Coverage of the World Cup continues tonight with tape coverage of Switzerland facing Colombia on ESPN2. Tomorrow, Germany meets South Korea on ESPN, and Tuesday, Italy takes on Mexico. Now, our ABC coverage returns Saturday with a live matchup as single elimination play begins at 1 o'clock Eastern. In a minute, Team USA continues its pursuit of the dream against Romania in the Rose Bowl. For those of you who are watching the Senior Players Golf Championship, it's still going on because of the weather delays. Dave Stockton still leading now by 6 shots over Jim Alvis, 7 over Trevino, Floyd, and Aoki. Now back to Roger Twibell at the Rose Bowl.
Thank you very much, Jim, and welcome back here to Southern California on a day where it is very, very hot, and Romania leads the United States 1-0, and Seamus Malin, not a lot of highlights for the first half.
No, but this one was a great chance for the U.S. John Harkes doing a great job with a terrific shot, clearly beating the goalkeeper, but not beating the post. And that was a crucial turnaround at the other end. Now, keep an eye on this player here coming up, Seamus for Romania. He is going to make a good run down in here and and he is not tracked down. There he makes his clear run, and the reaction is too late. The defenders do not get to him. Finally, they get over there. He attacks the line, pushes it back, and Romania quickly squares the ball over to the other side where the danger is. Now stop. Now you see that this is the danger area for the United States. This player for the United States has got to attack the ball. He attacks the ball, or he thinks it's going to be the ball, but it gets behind him. That's John Harkes, and then Petrescu fires it in at the near post with a very well executed shot by Petrescu. But once again, it was a tough situation for Harkes. He had to come up to the ball and exposed to the space behind him, which is exactly what they wanted. They got in there for the shot, and that crucial 1-0 lead for Romania.
Okay, Seamus, 1-0 to score at halftime, and joining us right now is United States Soccer Federation President Alan Rothenberg. And Alan, I guess this has been a dream World Cup so far. The only hitch is that the United States is trailing at halftime, but everything seems to have been coming off very smoothly.
It's been a fantastic 10 days, and the last 5 days since the victory over Colombia were outstanding. You know, Boris so far has been a great second-half coach. Our team has regularly played better the second half than the first, so watch us this half.
The partying and such in Orlando, you were telling me about that, has been exceptional.
It's extraordinary. Everybody was worried about hooliganism. They partied till 5 a.m. at Church Street Station. Mexicans, Irish, Dutch, Brazilians. The police couldn't believe it. They joined the party. They thought it was like Mardi Gras.
Okay, Alan, thank you very much. Good to see you. Well, through 23 matches, the average capacity per stadium, 96%, over 1.5 million fans. That is it. The game is over, and Romania has defeated the United States 1-0 in the final first-round game of Group A. And with this victory by the Romanians, they now have 6 points, Seamus, which puts them atop Group A. The U.S. and Switzerland with 4 points apiece, and then the Colombians with 3. And there you see how the Group A standings shape up. 6 points for Romania, U.S. and Switzerland 4, but because of the goal differential there, Switzerland with the second place.
That's right.
Advantage.
They have had better record of goals for as it goes to goals against.
So the United States will go through on a wild card.